Okay guys, I'm going to go over this card sort for today. There's quite a bit here, so I wanted to give you some help. It's a little intimidating looking at this, so I'm going to help break it down a little bit. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to start with this guy. G of f of 3 equals 972. So what I need to do is I need to take 3 and I need to plug it into one of my functions. So I'm going to pick one to plug it into. So let's say I go here. If I plug 3 into this f function, what I get out is 9. Okay? Now, if I take 9 and plug it into this function here, 2 times 9 is 18 plus 2. That is definitely not 972. So it can't go with this one here. So I'll look at another one. Let's look at this one here. If I plug 3 in here, I'm going to get 4 times 3 is 12, plus 6 is 18. So now what I need to do is I need to take this 18 and square it. So if I take 18 and square it, let me get my handy calculator here. I get 324. So again, I'm taking this, I'm going to plug it in here. I'm going to plug it into my f function and see what I get out. Whenever I square 18, I get 324. It's looking promising now. Now if I take that number and I multiply it by 3, do I get 972? So times 3 equals, oh look at that, 972. So that means that this g of f of 3 goes with this 4x plus 6 and 3x squared. I'm going to erase this and move that together. So those definitely go together. I'm going to try this one now. Since my g function is pretty easy, I'm going to do 3 in here. That would be 6 plus 2 is 8, and 8 squared is not 26, so it's not that one. Let's try this one. The f of 3, that would be 9. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4 is 13, times 2 is 26, so we have a winner there. Now, I'm going to try this guy here. 114. F of g of 3. So I'm going to take 3 and plug it into the g function now. So I'm going to take 3 and plug it into the g function and see which one works. Let's just start here again. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. 27 times 4 if my calculator will work, is 108 plus 6 is 114. So there we go. That's a set. I'm going to just put these on top of each other. That's my set. So moving on to this next one. This one is done. This one is a set, because I have to put them in groups of 3. That one goes with that one. So now we're just going to keep on trucking. Let's try this one. G of f of x. So if I take f of x and put it in for x, I'm just substituting it straight in. Okay, sorry about that. You gotta jump in the video here. But if I plug f of x into g of x in this function, here's what it looks like. 2 times x squared plus 2. So I took that f of x function and plugged it into the g of x function, which ends up matching this. So we're getting down on our cards here. Let's see. We've got 4 more to set. Let's see here. Let's try g of x. Let's try this one. With g of x, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the g function and I'm going to plug it into itself. That is possible. That is allowed. So wherever there's an x, I'm going to plug the g function into itself. So I left that space for the x. Now I'm going to fill this in with the g function. I'm going to distribute through. So that would be 4x. 2 times 3 is 6. And I haven't dealt with that plus 3 yet, so I need to make sure I deal with it. Whenever I do that, I get 4x plus 9, which matches this g of x function. So that goes there. Alright, we're down to 3. Let's try this guy, because he doesn't look very complicated. This one is g of f of x. So, I'm going to try it in this guy, because it looks like I have numbers that'll work together. So if I plug the f of x function into the g of x function, it is going to work. So I'm plugging f of x in to g of x. So I get 2 times x squared plus 4. Sorry, these sneezes are going to take my life, I think. So whenever we go through and multiply this out, we're going to get 2x squared and 2 times 4 is 8. So this 2x plus 8 goes with this last function set. So that is a set. So I have 2 left here. Now, looking at this, I need to come up with something that's a trinomial, which means that I have to do a binomial squared, which tells me automatically that this one has to go here. But I'm going to go ahead and show that. If I plug g of x into f of x, I'm going to do this. This is 2x plus 2 squared. Whenever you're squaring a binomial like this, it's really simple. I'm going to square, actually, here, let me, it ends up looking like this. It's going to be your first term squared I'm just going to leave it like that. It's going to be your first term squared plus 2 times your first and last term plus your last term squared. Why did I put 4? That would be b squared. In this case, it would be 4, but I need b squared here. So anytime you're squaring a binomial, it looks like this. So I'm going to do a squared, which is 4x squared, plus, it says 2 times a times b. So 4 times 2x is 4x times 2 is 8x. Then I'm going to do 2 squared, which is 4. And anytime you have a binomial squared, that's what you'll use. It's exactly the same as doing FOIL. I can separate that out into two separate binomials and go through and do FOIL, but this is just a nice shortcut for it. So that one has to go here. We already tested this one here. Now, this just says that this one here, we know that it goes with the last one. But what it's saying is we have this function g of x. If we plug it into f of x, that's going to be the same as if we plug f of x into g of x. And since they are what's the word I'm looking for? I'll just show it. So if I go in here and I plug in g of x to that f of x function, it's going to look like this. 2x plus 3 minus 3 over 2 equals x. Because these cancel and those cancel. Now, if I go the other way, and I plug this into the g function, I'm going to get 2 times x minus 3 over 2 plus 3. So those 2's cancel, so I'm left with x minus 3 plus 3. Those cancel. I'm left with x. So this one right here is saying that these two functions, when you plug them into each other, these two functions are equal.